I'll classify carbs into three main groups: starches and grains, and your sugars and your alcohols. So they're the ones which cause the most problems. And the fibre carbs are what we want lots of. Okay, so this is a little snippet I took from one of my talks, which was only on blood pressure. So we always, talking about blood pressure, I talk about the big three: sugars, starches and grains, and alcohol. Because if you have those in your diet, your blood pressure will shoot up. We go the reverse way around, we replace them. So just a little bit of research. So we ask also for reversing heart disease and preventing diabetes. Says carbohydrates cause nearly all age-related diseases. Age-related diseases could be best be described as excessive carbohydrate consumption syndrome. It's referring to these. Okay. Cardiologist William Davis states, eat more fat, eat as little grain as possible, and glucose from excessive consumption of carbohydrates turns into body fat. Hence we're talking about body fat as well. And it also deposits in the arteries and organs, causing arterial disease, strokes, blood clots, type 2 diabetes, cancer, Alzheimer's, and elevated triglycerides, and more. So these are not ideally healthy foods. Okay. So this is what we see. People go, oh, I'm trying to eat well, so I'll have a jacket potato for lunch. But that's not actually ideal. Now, I feel a bit mean to things like the potato, because a potato should have some nutrition with it. A cereal bar definitely won't. And things like the bread is just really processed. And let's not kid ourselves about alcohol. I can find research to say it's good for you, but it's junk science. Alcohol's alcohol. If you want to have a glass of wine, have a glass of wine. But essentially, it acts as a sugar. Okay. So it's a sugar carb. So that's why I put here sugars and alcohol. Okay. But things like rice and potatoes, people eat just way too many potatoes. People are having jacket potatoes all the time. I mean, if you're diabetic, you don't really want to eat potatoes. Okay. Starch is actually sugar. If you join sugar molecules together, we call it starch. But it's just sugar. So people are eating a high starch diet, which means they're eating a high sugar diet. Okay, that's again, people go, oh, I don't really have a lot of sugar, I don't put it in my tea, I'm really not too, I don't really eat much cakes and biscuits, maybe they eat a bit too much fruit juice, or I don't have fruit juice, but they have lots of these. Now rice is an interesting one, because yes, if you get a real quality rice and you cook it properly, it's no instant microwave rice, yes, there should be some nutritional value, but again, many people, if they've got blood sugar issues, weight issues, diabetes, high blood pressure, or just general health issues, it's not again ideal for them. If you look at populations that have a lot of rice in their culture, a lot don't have much as we think, but it's normally due to poverty. Poverty in many of those cases. And again, it's not meant to offend anyone, it just is what it is. Rice has some nutritional value, and it does fill people up, and it gives some people calories. You do need some calories in there. You can't just have a pot of vitamins, you need some actual calories. But it's normally through poverty. They can grow up in poor quality soils, and it feeds a population. Okay, so I'd rather have that than chocolate bars, from a health point of view. But again, people are having potatoes and rice all the time, they're having pasta, bread, and again wonder why their diabetes is getting worse or their blood pressure is going up. It's the wrong source of carbs. Starches and grains, sugars and alcohols are our worst source of carbs for most people. And this is something we should be doing in moderation. Okay, and I agree with the term moderation if it's used correctly. We want lots of fibre carbs. So here's just a big long list of fibre carbs, but to make it really simple, essentially it's non-starchy vegetables and salads. Okay, and there's more out there than just lettuce, cucumber, tomato. That's why it's worth sometimes getting vegetarian cookbooks and stuff and look at how to make those up. And it's very easy to add proteins and fats to it. So, here's some roasted cauliflower, here's stuffed peppers, here's steak with broccoli, so we've got it here. This is your courgette spaghetti. Wrap things in different leaves, you can wrap bacon around, asparagus, all different salads and stuff. So it's very easy to add this. The cauliflower rice is definitely something you've got to try. Just put it in the food processor, find a bit of coconut oil. It's very, very good. So here's just a short list of how many different fibre carbs there are. And this is the type of carbohydrates we need. If you only ate meat and fat, most people would lose a lot of weight and their diabetes would probably go and their blood pressure would regulate, but they have no energy. They need some carbohydrates, but fibre carbs. It won't spike their blood sugar. Everything you eat, with the exception of the fibre in the food, will convert to blood sugar. That's why these are so ideal. Yeah? So in our household, everyone does things differently. We just make up a nice big salad. It will last us 2 or 3 days. Every meal I have, just grab a handful and shove it with it. For me, that's about right. based on my metabolic type, about a handful of salad per meal is good. Then I just need to make sure I've got protein with that and plenty of healthy fat. So I've always got like olives and avocados and olive oil, and I use coconut oil and butter, a big variety of things. But it's very easy to eat that way. So when people eat meat, fat and veg as the predominant regular food source, they feel a lot better. They don't need to do the snacking all the time. They lose a lot of weight. It regulates their blood sugars. This is why it's so beneficial. That good, guys? And also the good thing with these, a lot of these you can have cooked, but you can have a lot of it raw. I mean, how difficult is it to take a handful of spinach and just tear it up your hands? It's very quick and convenient. A lot of food we buy comes in a package for its convenience. You know, it's convenience, quick, easy, but it's not always the best way.